Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we began Olimar's comeback, so this time we're starting with land, sea, and sky. Winged Pikmin are your most valuable employees. Only they can lift the bamboo gate, so pamper them by keeping them away from ink, water, bubbles, and danger in general. Huh? So what if I constantly send you into danger? The President. Mission Log Day 3. I'm constantly surprised at the number and variety of local life forms. We don't have much choice but to deal with them if we want to recover the parts we need though. I'll have to devise a plan for safely transporting the parts back to base. Clearing a path as I go would be a good start. So many wild creatures. Keep fending them off. For this mission, we have 12 minutes to defeat all of the enemies in a section of the Garden of Hope. This is actually a surprisingly generous time limit, especially with proper multitasking. So as the Pikmin carry back the Dwarf Orange Bulborbs, I also want to have a couple of them working on the bridge, and I want to toss Louie over to the Blue Pikmin. We'll have Olimar stand by near the Red Onion to gather them up as they return, before swapping over Blue Pikmin. Freshwater creatures. We'll have the Blue Pikmin fight the watery blowhogs, and in the meantime, I want to go over here to gather up some more Pikmin. Be very careful on the way back, because again, the puckering Blinos can actually jump out of the water and grab winged Pikmin. As we make our way back to the Blue Onion, they should be just about done with the first watery blowhog fight, so we'll round them up and have them start fighting the second one. With the winged Pikmin, we can actually reach the bridge pieces from here, so we'll have them help out the red Pikmin, and also that helps to keep them out of harm's way from all of the underwater enemies and the watery blowhog. Once again, we'll leave Louie here to pluck all of the Pikmin, and we'll swap over to Olimar to collect the remaining 2 Dwarf Orange Bulborbs. We also have eggs in both areas with onions, so I highly recommend gathering up some nectar before leaving, because we have to deal with an orange Bulborb later on in this day. Once again, we'll leave Olimar by the red onion to gather up the red Pikmin before swapping over, and with 22 blue Pikmin, we should be good to go for dealing with all the underwater threats. First up, we have the puckering Blino we passed by earlier. I definitely want to deal with this one right away so I don't forget about it later, because it's in a fairly remote spot of this stage. With that taken care of, let's head over here, where we should have some more puckering Blinos, and over by the shore, we should have a wall that we'll want to deal with. Be very careful over here because there are quite a few enemies near the wall. They should be far enough away from the pyroclasmic slooches, so they should be able to safely work on that. So let's swap over, and with all of our red Pikmin, we can speed up building the bridge. But again, I do want to stop and gather some nectar first, to ensure that we'll be able to get through the orange Bulborb fight in a bit without too much trouble, hopefully. The first stack of bridge pieces is done, so we have one more stack to go. That's only 7 pieces, so this will go a lot faster. Once this is taken care of, we'll be able to unite the 2 squads and hopefully speed up taking down the wall. Actually, the wall is already torn apart, so we're good to go. One other thing worth mentioning is, like in Pikmin 2, if a fiery enemy strays into water, it will actually be extinguished, so you will be able to fight the pyroclasmic slooches with other types of Pikmin. I'm kind of waiting for them to get farther away from each other to deal with them more safely, but again, this one is extinguished, so we'll have the blue Pikmin deal with it since it's right by water. Over here, we should also have a Hermit Crawmad to deal with. Again, these aren't too difficult to defeat, you just have to be patient and wait for an opening like so. With the enemies out of the way, we can start working on the second bridge here. We'll have the red Pikmin and the winged Pikmin work on that stack of bridge pieces, and we'll also leave Louie over here as well. In the water, we have a second stack too, guarded by 2 Sputtlefishes. Again, I don't think I've ever seen a Sputtlefish actually attack. In general, I feel like these are fairly easy enemies to defeat, and luckily these were actually spread out pretty well, so we didn't have to worry about one interfering with the other fight. We'll have the blue Pikmin gather up all of these pieces in the water, and we'll hopefully build the bridge before too long. We don't have enough winged Pikmin yet to deal with this gate over here, sadly. To lift up this gate, we'll need winged Pikmin. We also want to intercept as many of the Pikmin as possible before they actually return to the place where all the bridge pieces were. Again, it is a bit of a double-edged sword having them return to where they started. Sometimes it is helpful to keep track of where they are, but as you're trying to actively retrieve them, sometimes they're running away from you, which can be a little bit inconvenient. With all of our Pikmin, we want to cross the blue bridge to the final onion of this area, where we have quite a few orange Bulborbs to contend with. The dwarf orange Bulborbs shouldn't be too bad, but we're fighting them so close to the adult Bulborb that it's a little bit scary because we might accidentally wake it up too early. I'm also not sure if I can actually gather the sprouts without waking it up, and there it is, so I definitely want to retreat and let it go back to sleep in a minute, and then we'll try to charge it from behind with all of our Pikmin. I also want to leave Louie here so I don't accidentally throw Louie, and I'll basically throw off my rhythm for actually trying to charge all the Pikmin. Again, because you have to charge each squad independently, and it will highlight the captain as well, it can cause a delay for charging all of your Pikmin, which can cause problems. We do have one enemy that is a little bit scary, so I do want to take some time to raise some more winged Pikmin. And since the orange Bulborbs are all right here, it's not that big of a deal gathering up these right here. In general, I don't recommend gathering up too many of the enemies beyond the initial areas with the onions, given that they're pretty far away from a lot of the enemies, and it would take a lot of time to actually have the Pikmin carry things back, and then go back yourself to actually gather up all the sprouts. Again, these missions are very interesting because they do kind of require a certain level of min-maxing for the maximum efficiency, given that more Pikmin is more efficient, but is it worth going all the way over there to actually collect more Pikmin? So now we can finally raise this gate, where we have plenty of swooping snitch bugs over here. We definitely want to call the winged Pikmin as well, because they'll be our best bet to deal with these. Again, I do like how they've actually consolidated the swooping snitch bugs and the bumbling snitch bugs into one enemy by having them able to pick up captains as well, instead of having two separate enemy types. In general, they aren't too threatening. And over here, we have a bug-eyed Crawmad, and this is why I wanted plenty of winged Pikmin for this. We'll call them back really quickly and have them charge at the other eye, and we'll keep locked on, and as soon as it flips over, we'll start tossing the other Pikmin at its underside to hopefully one-cycle it without too much trouble. We have one more bamboo gate over here, so we'll raise this up, but again, once we're on the other side, we do want to call all of our Pikmin back, because I do want to have quite a few. There should be some parts around here somewhere. Over here, we have a Waddlepuss, so let's have the blue Pikmin fight that, while the winged Pikmin deal with this swooping snitch bug. Again, I'm pretty sure the bubbles don't actually hurt Pikmin, so we'll leave the blue Pikmin alone for now as they deal with that. Actually, let's call them, since we will need them for something later on. And again, the bubbles do pop on their own eventually, and that should take care of most of the enemies on land. We also have a few more winged Pikmin sprouts over here. I definitely could have used these a little bit earlier. I actually might recommend going here first, rather than going around. Basically, you can either approach the area from the water or from land, and it actually might be slightly more efficient to approach from land. We only have a couple more enemies, including a Sputtlefish, this Waddlepuss here, and after this, we should only have a couple of Pikmin Buenos left. So overall, this day went very smoothly, we had plenty of time remaining, and we didn't lose any Pikmin, so overall, that was a very smooth run. Words cannot describe how I'm feeling, Your Highness. Please accept this platinum medal and a song written by yours truly. We found the Hokotate ship. Well, part of it. It looks like the ship suffered severe damage and its pieces were scattered here and there. This all feels very familiar, but there's no time to wallow in nostalgia. We have to recover those parts and get them back to base before the indigenous life on this planet does who knows what with them. Next up is first part found. Don't bother lifting that ship part until you've cleared the route back, including bridges. I don't want to see any bite marks on Hokotate Freight property, the President. Mission Log Day 4. We found the most important part of the ship, the main engine. It's a bit dirty from exposure to the elements, but it should still function. Now to consider how to transport it back to base without any indigenous creatures damaging it. We need to bring these parts back to the pod, or we can't go home. We have 12 minutes to carry this part to the opposite side of the Distant Tundra, which is easier said than done. First things first, let's gather up all the Pikmin along the slope. The nose is missing from that president-looking statue. One thing worth mentioning is the medal requirements work differently in this type of mission. Instead of being based on score, it's based on the amount of time remaining. So in this case, we have to collect the part with over 2 minutes remaining for a platinum rank, and then the rank will decrease in 30-second intervals until it reaches a bronze rank. Down here, we have a pair of yellow Wollywogs. We're going to have the yellow Pikmin clear a path through the mushrooms, while we fight the Wollywogs with the blue Pikmin. I definitely want to play it safe given that I'm not really used to fighting these with blue Pikmin in this particular game. Frankly, after 2 games, we have types of Pikmin that can utterly decimate Wollywogs. It's very easy to forget how actually scary they were in the first game. When you have purple Pikmin in 2 and rock Pikmin in 3, you don't have much to worry about, but with other types of Pikmin, there's a very high risk of them actually getting crushed. And again, this is actually one of the things I really enjoy about the side stories. Having preset types of Pikmin means you often have to approach challenges with non-optimal types of Pikmin, and you have to play it safe or think outside the box to get through these sections safely. With that taken care of, we're going to toss Louie over here for later, and we'll have Olimar stand by at the yellow onion. We'll swap over and round up the red Pikmin on the opposite shore and get to work on building the bridge again. I really wonder how the bridge got unbuilt, actually, after the main story, but we'll have the red Pikmin work on this wall over here, and we have a set of bridge pieces here, along with some more red Pikmin. So we'll pluck all these and start working on this pile over here. Let's swap over. We want to flower as many of the yellow Pikmin as possible, given that we have a lot of electricity to worry about today. I want to make sure they're in tip-top shape for what's coming up very shortly. Again, I do miss swarming in cases like this, where you have to simply charge the stack of nectar multiple times to actually flower the Pikmin. We'll get them working on this, and we'll swap back to Louie and start working on the bridge. I actually think they're almost done with this wall, so I think we'll actually start with this pile of bridge pieces here first. We can actually speed it up, never mind. They finished the exact moment I actually charged them. There's also some yellow Pikmin planted up there, but we're not actually going to gather those up, given that that's somewhat out of the way, and there's also a watery blowhog in the way as well. Past this electric wall, we have a pair of bearded amp rats. Again, fighting these enemies in close proximity is always a little bit scary, because there is a risk of one getting in the way as you're trying to fight the other, but luckily the one didn't actually try to attack until we were out of the way, so that went very smoothly. Let's gather up all of the red Pikmin. At this point, I don't think I actually need any more yellow Pikmin, so we'll leave the amp rats and start working on this side of the bridge. I think I'll have the yellow and blue Pikmin work on this because we do have a couple of eggs over here, and I do want to flower the red Pikmin for later. Also, here's the blue onion. It's in a very remote spot, to be honest, so I don't really recommend growing blue Pikmin for this day either. Also, I'm pretty sure this egg always has an ultra spicy spray, so that is very good to keep in mind. Swapping over to Louie again, it looks like they just finished building this section of the bridge, so we are going to have the Pikmin start working on this next stack here before starting to clear out some of the enemies. With all of our Pikmin assembled on this side of the river, we are going to head back over to the landing site in order to actually start carrying the part. For this type of mission, I highly recommend basically carrying it as you go instead of trying to clear a path in totality before trying to carry it, because otherwise you have to go all the way back to the starting area just to start carrying it. Let's see how Louie's doing. It looks like they're almost done here, so... aw, I'm starving. They actually finished that section of the bridge very quickly, so we want to very, very quickly cross over with Olimar's squad. Let's search the shore on the other side. And with most of our Pikmin assembled, we want to very quickly run through and try to defeat all of the Joust Mites and other enemies along the path. Again, we could drop the part temporarily if we actually did run into trouble, but I'd prefer if we didn't have to do that. So again, we're simply going to try to get ahead of the Pikmin carrying the part and try to clear a path like so. With the red Pikmin, they're very capable of fighting, and again, this is actually a really good showcase of them being really good in battle, because again, in the main story, when you mostly rely on the rock Pikmin for fighting, you can kind of forget that the red Pikmin are actually stronger for situations like this. We want to have the blue Pikmin carry this still, but we also want to have the red Pikmin start working on this wall. In the meantime, I want to sneak around here and deal with the bearded ant brat on the other side of this tunnel. It's actually very risky charging it head-on, but again, given that this is normal difficulty, it shouldn't be a problem. Once this wall is taken out, we're going to have them carry it a little bit more, and then we're going to have them drop it, because we need a little bit of time for this final section. This final stretch is actually very scary. We have a couple of Hermit Crawmads. The retrieval point is past that electric gate. Luckily that one charged right away, giving us an opportunity to deal with the Sheer Grubs that are also in this area. I want to take them out first so they don't try to pick off Pikmin as we're trying to deal with the Hermit Crawmads. That was very close actually. So with those two out of the way, we should be able to defeat these enemies, no problem. There should still be one more male Sheer Grub by the electric wall, so before we actually get to work on that, we want to bait it out of its hiding spot and take it out. Again, you really notice the difference in how much health enemies have on normal when they get defeated that quickly. But again, we want to take out this Sheer Grub, and we'll have them work on the wall. Also, we might as well use our Spicy Spray and have them take out the wall very quickly as a result. And I guess we'll head back and have them start carrying the part the rest of the way now that the wall is taken care of. Overall, that went very smoothly, actually. All we have to do is wait for the part to arrive. Oh, my poor family back home. Please be patient. Words cannot describe how I'm feeling, Your Highness. Please accept this platinum medal and a song written by yours truly. We got one of the parts, but the going won't be easy from here. Louie and I are thinking of splitting up to find a way through the next region. I worry about him going off on his own. Maybe there's a way to keep an eye on him from a distance. We'll work it out, I suppose, or else. We'll see how their splitting up strategy works next time, so thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe.